Yes. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on which part of the globe that you are watching this show in. Welcome so much to Afrique 24, Dimbala Afrique, and we are back with another amazing show headlined for you guys. So if you are joining us for the very first time, you are so much welcome to the platform. We welcome each and everyone who is joining us for the very first time, whether you're watching us on X, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, anywhere. Thank you for joining Afrique 24. You guys are so much welcome. You are the reason why we are here doing this show each and every time. So tunataka tuwashukuru sana, tunashukuru tena na tena, and we are back with another amazing show. But today we want to focus more on the things that have happened recently. Of course, we have seen Mohamed Salah has become the first player to win the PFA Player of the Year 3 times in a row. Not in a row, sorry. He has won the PFA 3 times. No player has done that before. That is a historic moment for him as a player. And also for the continent of Africa, since we cheer for each other. It's a very big win for the African continent because Mo Salah is an African player, and it's just proving that also African players can do it in the global stage. And also this week we have seen Eberechi Eze has signed for Arsenal. So have Spurs bottled the signing of Eze? We'll discuss that. And also, we have seen Jeremy Frimpong has gotten a small injury, out for about a month. Same for Kai Havertz, and Rashford got his first game. But we'll get to that. We have so much to discuss today. So let us begin the show. And of course, we know tomorrow there is a big day in the world of Chan because tomorrow we have Kenya versus Madagascar playing here in Nairobi, and it's going to be a very big game for Kenya playing against Madagascar. It's going to be a very big game, and I am so excited about this day because the boys get a chance to play against Madagascar in the highest level, because this Chan tournament is very big for us as a country, hosting, and also we also want to win it. So we shall be here to talk about the aftermatch that is going to happen tomorrow. But thank you once again for everyone who is joining us for the very first time. We want to discuss so much that is there. There is so much to be discussed in the coming matches, and without wasting time, let us get straight away into it. So tomorrow we have Kenya versus Madagascar, which is going to be played here in Nairobi, and it's a very big game, and the boys have a chance to showcase what they can do, and above all else, there is money if they get the chance to win it. Kuna pesa kwa hii mchuano ya Kenya versus Madagascar. Of course, we know Madagascar finished second in their group, and Kenyans will finish first in the group of death. Got the win against Morocco, the win against Zambia, and we also got the vital point against Angola, which saw us clinching Group A. So recently we had an issue where the tickets really crash, whereby we had that the system kulikuwa na issue na bots, so we had a small issue, and thanks to CAF wametuongezea the number of people from 27,000 to 38,000 people who can be able to join the matches, and it's a good thing, and I hope the fans will be able to behave in tomorrow's game that will be played 5 p.m. Kenyan time. and if the people behave wakuwa na watch games kwa hizi the fan zones, it's something that will be very very good, because you will find that the more we behave, the more we improve our chances of hosting more matches. But right now, in the quarters, in the semis, if we don't behave, we will not host the games. So, to everyone who is a lover of the football game, if you haven't purchased a ticket to watch the game that is being played, tomorrow, you can watch it in the fan zones, or if you can't watch it in the fan zones, you can you can uh, you can watch it at home. But make sure, if you don't have a ticket, don't go to the stadium to try and force your way into the stands to cheer for your country, and all will be well. And I want to believe the coach is going to make some changes in tomorrow's game. We saw the lineup against Zambia, and where we saw Farouk Shikalo was brought in ahead of Brian Omondi. So tomorrow I am fancying Brian Omondi will be back in post, and we want to see. I would prefer Siraj over the captain Abudomar. I prefer Siraj as left back because with him I'm seeing some little bit of composure with the ball at the feet. He's also comfortable playing from the back, and I just think overall, Siraj brings something much more stable rather than Abud. Abud Omar is good with the ball in his feet and also passing, but the problem that I have with Abud is whenever he's there in the left back position, uh, tuna lose ball because Abud is always trying to go long, to go long, to go long. And you see, the first time you can go long, you can find maybe Mushiri, or you can find maybe somebody like Sakwa. But the second time, the opponents, what do? They learn, tunasomwa. So Abud just keeps on doing the same thing, expecting different results. So the first time you can go long, uta find player, but the more you keep on going long, the defenders are going to find out about you. And when they find you out, what happens is ukishasoma game yako and you don't switch, they will be just winning the balls. That's why I prefer having Siraj hapo left back, because we want somebody who is comfortable playing from the back and progressive passing. So if I'm Benny McCarthy, I would put in Siraj ahead of Abu Domar. Otherwise, I will maintain the defense. Defense imekuwa poa. Shout out to Brian Omondi. Brian Omondi is a very instrumental person in the goal, and he leads by an example. So a big shout out to him there akiwa hapo kwa post. What else? Shout out also Manzur, the young players, Suleiman Manzur. Manzur is a very very good player hapo kwa midfield. I feel like Manzur anacheza poa sana hapo kwa mid yetu, and also big up to people like Sylvester Owino, very very good player. So if I am Benny McCarthy, I will maintain the first 11 that I started with on the game versus Angola. Of course, we know Masoud Juma. Masoud Juma alipata injury, though I don't feel like Masoud should start in the team. In the way game iko saizi, Ogam ameshika game, and if not Ogam, I would also want to see somebody like Austin Odongo, Shabana striker. But before we get into that, I'd fancy the Benny McCarthy, ile lineup ilicheza against Angola, or the lineup that played against Congo. I would want him to maintain that one because that is our strongest lineup. And in the second half, he can make the changes. So the only change that we want to see is Ogama has to maintain his spot there in the number 9, and Mushiri has been great for the country. Though in this game, I'd want him to come on after halftime. I would want him to get minutes. I wouldn't want to see him starting. Osino Diambo is the engine of the team, and I'd say he's our best player, because even if you look the way he carries the ball, if you look the way he takes on players, Austin Odhiambo anafanya poa sana, very very vital person in this squad of ours, and so Austin will be very very instrumental for us as a country, the Gor Mahia striker, and also I like Kibwage. Kibwage amekuwa poa, and I believe he's very very physical, and ana defend poa sana. Uh, Also somebody like Kirambo. Kirambo acheza poa sana. Kirambo will be very very good for us in this game. So what I'd say is the coach squad iko poa, and well, you just need to maintain the game, that the one that played against Angola. Yes, the one played against Angola, and the one that played against the yeah, Congo and Angola. That was a good lineup. I think that is our best, and we need to maintain that one. And so the thing that I would want to see two players. I would want to see somebody like I would want to see Austin Odongo, what he can do when if you remove Ogam. Taka tuone kama Austin Odongo can replicate what Ogam is doing. Otherwise, the team is okay. Wametrain poor, and we are playing well. Though I do have some small issues. I am kind of skeptical. Which there is a question which I would also pose to people who are watching. Do you guys think if we go down a goal, can we come back and win the game? Because against Angola, we went down 1-0 and we came back through a penalty. But that is the question which I've been asking myself. If Kenya goes down 1-0, tutaweza kurudi kwa game na tuweze kuishinda? Because most of the games tumekuwa tukienda 1-0 up, and we are very good in defending. Even with a red card, we get the job done. But the question is, if tomorrow Madagascar score first, do we have the resilience to come back and get the goal, complete the comeback, and win the game? That is a question which I would love to hear from everyone who is watching us. So because I would also want to test us to know how resilient is the team in staying in the game, because that is just the one thing that maybe I feel like tuko na issue. If we can go a goal down and we come back and we win, then I do believe to build a very very good squad, that a fighting squad. Otherwise, tomorrow I'm fancying a Kenya win. Though I have noticed one thing, that most of our games, the scoreline prediction is always a goal to nil, because we are not a high scoring team by many margins. Whether we are playing against a top side or a small side, we don't really score so many. We don't score so many goals, and but it's okay. It's okay. So that's what I would want to know. So for tomorrow's game, I'm going with Kenya 1-0 victory against Madagascar. So most of our games tumekuwa tukizishinda, we always win by a goal to nil, and it's something that has been there since kitambo sana. When I was watching football, the time when Anthony Hay was the national team head coach, we are not a country that scores many goals against other teams. But the good thing is to get the job done tomorrow. But in the future, I would want to see us scoring goals. Yeah, not just a 1-0 victory and then tunakaza. I'd want to see us score many goals. But otherwise, for tomorrow, I'm fancying a Kenya win, and I'm going for a 1-0 victory to Kenya. The goals tunajua either they always come from Austin Odhiambo or if they don't come from Austin Odhiambo, they come from Ryan Wesley Ogam. And tomorrow, I hope to see Brian Michira playing for Kenya. And not starting, I'd want to see him get minutes, even if it's 10 minutes. I'd want to see him get some few minutes so we see what Brian Michira can do. Even if it's the added time or it's the last 10 minutes, I'd want to see him in the national team shirt so that we see what M10 can do in the team. Otherwise tomorrow for the boys, money tunajua vizuri, pesa imeahidiwa. Many people have promised a lot of things. Kuna fridge, kuna ile pesa ya bahati, there is the president's money, then also there is CAF, there is 400 million for Sonko. So I'd fancy the boys to go for go for the win. Yeah, I fancy the boys go for the win, go for the money, and hopefully Chan itakuja nyumbani. But also I do want us to discuss some few things and where about the future of Brian Wesley Ogam, the Tusker number 9, and I he has a 3.9 million release clause. If I'm not wrong, I think he has a 3.9 million release clause, and rumors are linking him to Gor Mahia in the new season. And the question is, should he sign for Gor Mahia or should he look into playing international? Because I hope after this Chan competition is over, the scouts from European countries or even the Saudi or wherever, they are watching this tournament because people like Austin Odhiambo, somebody like Ogam, those are people who deserve chances of playing outside the country so that they can get more experience so that they can try to reach the top level, which is the Premier League or even La Liga or wherever. But I do believe their ceiling is very, very high, and they do deserve a chance to play in the outside league. Could it be South Africa? South Africa is a good league if they get a chance to play in Morocco, Esperance, if they get a chance to play even in Egyptian teams like Al Ahly, it will be a very good thing. So the scouts that are watching this Chan competition, they are very, very good players in the Kenya national team. So for me, the two of my favorites are Ryan Wesley Ogam and Austin Odhiambo. So those two are very, very good. Of course, we know Nabwire is leaving the country very, very soon. He'll be joining a team in Europe. And so if the scouts are watching, Ryan Wesley Ogam deserves a chance. Those people like Austin Odhiambo, those are players that if they get the good nurturing and they are trained well, they are players who can deliver the highest level, not just for country but also for club. So I do want to see them playing, even if it's the Saudi league. I know Austin Odhiambo can deliver. If you give Wesley Ogam a chance to play, let's say in a team like Al Hilal or even Al Nasser, then Wesley Ogam is going to deliver, I guarantee. If he's given a chance, let's say in Europe, team like Istanbul Basaksehir, Ogam can deliver in that spot. If let's say we take somebody like, even if you put them in leagues like, let's take Fenerbahce, then Wesley Ogam can deliver. So if the scouts are watching here in this Chan tournament, they are very, very good players who can deliver if they get the chance to. So if you're watching, consider picking up some players, and the players are still so young. Wesley Ogam is only 20 years, and Ogam is 20 years, Austin Odongo is 23 years. So they still have many years to grow. They still have many years to develop themselves as attackers. And yes, we need to send most of our players outside there ndio wapate experience so that also it can give motivation to players when you're wa grassroots level football that if they play well, they can also reach the highest level of playing in the country and also getting the chance to play outside the country, and that will be it will be a win for it will be a win for us as a country, because huku there is so much talent that is lost, more so when people finish high school, watu wana quit football. And so, but right now the football spirit in the country is slowly reviving. And message I'd send to anyone who is watching this Chan tournament, Kenyans at large, tuko wengi who are going to the stadiums, and also people who are watching at home. So in the same way we are watching this Chan, the FKF Premier League will be returning very soon. So when it returns, let's carry on that same spirit. Tuende tuone games za Harambee Stars. Not the Harambee Stars, no, the club level football. From Ulinzi Stars to Taifa to Nairobi United to Shabana to Gor Mahia to FC Leopards to Mathare to Kariobangi Sharks. Let's carry on that same spirit. We support our football in the local leagues. And also I would also want the investors to put money in the clubs, to sponsor these clubs, so that we can try and revive the grassroots football in the country. So kudos to Hussein Mohammed and Mariga. You guys are doing a very good job in trying to revive the football. It's a very big fight yenye wanapigana nayo, but hopefully they will pull through, wataweza kushinda hiyo vita, and our football will be big. And I'm looking forward to a time when we will be watching ourselves. Tutakuwa tuna watch a lot of the Kenyan football. As much as we watch the football in England, we will also be watching the local level football, and I will also be going to stadiums to cheer the team. So I'm looking forward to a time when we will be doing that as a country, and the day we will revive our sports, will have solved many things. And also Austin Odhiambo spoke to the president about their ground hiyo ya Babadogo, ambayo tunasikia wanaweza wakaibiwa. So the message also I would also want to send to the president is to fight for that ground isichukuliwe, because that is where players are nurtured. Tumeona watu kama kina Olunga, they started playing there, and people like Austin Odhiambo, Joshua Onyango, those are players wametoka kwa hiyo stadium. So that stadium has to be preserved because it has removed a lot of big players in the country, and also in the future it also many players still from there. So it has to be preserved, and yani wasinyang'anywe. So the president fight for those people so that we keep that stadium, and also talent will be developed. Now there won't be crime, most of all, because people have something to do. They won't participate in criminal activities. Otherwise, kudos to the boys tomorrow. I'm going for a 1-0 victory for the country. So we also have 3 more games also tomorrow, and we have Tanzania versus Morocco. And also we saw what Kenyans did. Wameenda wamenunua tikiti za watu wa Tanzania. So Tanzania is up against Morocco. That is being played 8 p.m. Kenyan time. Also, we have Uganda versus Senegal, and we have Sudan versus Algeria. So my prediction is for the Kenya Madagascar, I'm going for a 1-0 victory for Team Kenya tomorrow, and I'm going for Tanzania versus Morocco. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Morocco. I believe Morocco has the capability. Unajua jirani wasione kwa sababu Kenya iliweza kuchapa Morocco, then they think they can pull through what Kenya was able to do, and they forget Kenya is very good at defending. So when they score first, Kenya imekuwa kama Arsenal, once they score you hakuna comeback. Once wakisha kufunga hivi game imeisha. So for Morocco tomorrow, I fancy them to beat Tanzania. Kukua, I don't know whether the game will be played in Benjamin Mkapa, but it will be played in Tanzania. So going for 2-1 win to Morocco, and Tanzania will play well, but Morocco will get the goals. They will get the job done. So to Tanzania, they will be knocked out. Uh, so I fancy once again Kenya versus Morocco in the semi-final, which is uh, which again is going to be another difficult game for us as a country. But let's talk about the Uganda. Also have a very big game up against the Senegalese, and we saw how Uganda waliweza qualify. They were 3-1 down to South Africa, but walipiga comeback, and eventually they won the game. And Senegal wamekuwa flash in this tournament, but we do understand for teams like Senegal, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, like you find most of their players they play in the leagues which are outside Africa. So I don't think the local leagues in their countries are are big. Yes, because unaweza pata maybe less than 5 players ndio wanaitwa to the national team when it's going for competitions like AFCON, or competitions like the World Cup. So for this one, Uganda versus Senegal. Yeah, 60 million is good amount of money for the boys. So Uganda versus Senegal, it's going to be a difficult game, and Uganda are home to playing against Senegal. So they have the home advantage, and hopefully their fans will show up in large numbers to support them, so that see what they can do. But this game, it's very difficult to predict because Senegal aren't playing the best football, and also Uganda also isn't very strong. So this game is a bit difficult to predict, because I fancy both teams to go for the win. I fancy both teams to go and attack, and it will be a back and forth, and both teams are going to attempt to get the 3 points, and I'd pick Uganda to win simply because of the home advantage of the fans. Uh, the 12th man will play a very crucial part of this game, and since this Senegal, for the matches that I've watched, I haven't seen them playing to the best of their abilities, but I think Uganda can win the game. Go for a 1-0 win for Uganda. The Uganda Cranes. I believe the home advantage shall push them to get the job done. A 1-0 lead, and watafungia tu hapo, watarudi wakaze mpaka game iishe. So another difficult game is going to be Sudan versus Algeria. And anyone who has watched Sudan play, you can clearly see that Sudan wanacheza poa sana. Sudan are doing quite well in this tournament. We saw how they smashed Nigeria, and the way in which wanacheza huwezi sema hata there is war in their country. So kudos to Sudan playing very well. Also big up to Algeria. Algeria wacheza poa. I watched the game they played against Uganda, and the Algeria is now the, let me say, how I envision Harambee Stars to be playing. Yes, Algeria is, the way in which they play is the way I'd wish Harambee Stars to be playing their game, because ukiona the way in which Algeria they score their goals, like it's not really half chances. Like game inapangwa from the midfield going forward, in the way in which wanapanga game, it's so entertaining, and they're able to sustain the game, and they are very very clinical with their chances. So this one, Sudan versus Algeria, will be one to watch, because this one it's going to be difficult because both of these teams are playing well. So I fancy both teams to score in this game, and I'll go for Sudan win. I'm going for 2-1 to Sudan, shocking victory. And most people will disagree with me, so but I will back Sudan to beat Algeria in this tournament. So this is the end of the road for Algeria. So I'm picking Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, and Morocco. So in the semi-finals, sasa hapo ndo itakuwa ngumu, because one thing yenye I'd want to say to football fans is game in the group stage is different to games maybe in the round of 16, quarter, semis, or even the final. I can take you guys back kidogo. Last season we had Arsenal were up against Arsenal was up against Paris. In the group stage, Arsenal beat Paris Saint-Germain. And Arsenal really played well in that game, though I didn't fancy them winning it. And once they met in the semi-finals, it was a totally different game. Uh, PSG stepped up and they won against Arsenal convincingly. Yani, even without a doubt, they won that game convincingly. Walichukua viti sana. So it's a good thing we beat Morocco in the group stage, but if we play against them in the semi-final, it's going to be a totally different game. Also, tukirudi back kitambo in Euros 2012, Spain played against Italy. They were in the same group, Spain versus Italy. In the group stage, a game Elisha draw 1-1. I remember Daniel De Rossi scoring. No, it was a sorry, it wasn't De Rossi. It was Di Natale. Di Natale scored. So sorry for that. Remember, Di Natale scored, and I don't remember the first one scored for Spain, but the game ilisha 1-1. And in that game in the group stage, Italy walicheza vizuri sana, without a doubt. But once they got into the final, Spain turned up differently. Yani Spain waligeuka kuwa a monster. These guys they became monsters. So they smashed Italy 4-1 in the 2012 Euro finals. Which shows that what I'm trying to say is, if you meet a team in the group stage and then you meet against them in the quarters, round of 16, semis, or final, again it becomes a totally different game. The same team, but once the stakes are raised, the game become inakuja inakuwa a bit mbadala, inakuwa ngumu kidogo. So Kenya against Tanzania will be easier for us than Kenya versus Morocco. And hear me out. I'd fancy Kenya to beat Tanzania. Hiyo ni mchana, very early. Yani it's hiyo hata hakuna kufikiria mara mbili. If I'm placing a bet, if Tanzania qualifies, which will be good because hii beef yote itaweza kuwa settled kwa ground. Kumekuwa na mshike hapo kwa mtandao, kumekuwa na beef. Kenyans are throwing this, Tanzanians are responding. So hii beef yote inafaa tu imalizwe kwa ground. So if it's up to me, I want Tanzania to qualify and I want Kenya to qualify so that we meet in the semis. Even if it's being played away in Tanzania, I'd want us to go there, because one thing, I will always fancy Kenya against Tanzania. We have a very good record against Tanzania. To a record poor against them in competitions that we have played. And if we go back to the last AFCON, we got a win against Tanzania, which is a very, very good thing. So it shows we have a very good record against Tanzania. So if we are to play them in the semis, it will be a good thing, so that watu kama kina Mwijaku wamekuwa kizungumza sana kwa mtandao akiongea mbaya, na pia upande wetu kumekuwa na watu wakiongea vibaya. So hii beef yote inafaa ikuwe settled kwa ground, so that we know which team is the better. So for me, I'd want to play Tanzania. It doesn't matter the ground, whether it's Uganda, Kenya, wherever. I'd want us to play Tanzania, tumalize hii beef yao, because I'm so confident in playing against Tanzania rather than playing Morocco twice. I'm very, very confident, because we don't know how Morocco will turn up in the second game. The mistakes which they made in the previous game, they have learned from them, and this time watakuja a bit different. But either way, I want to see Kenya versus Tanzania tumalize hii beef, and I'd go for a Kenya win. That one Kenya will win very, very easily, convincing. Hiyo hata hakuna kufikiria mara mbili. Kenya 1 Tanzania nil mchana. So in the semis sasa hapo, semis are Kenya versus Tanzania in the semifinals, or Kenya versus Morocco in the semifinals, going to be a good one. And also Uganda versus Sudan. That one also, in my prediction, itakuwa game poa sana. So Kenya versus Morocco, it will be a good one. Uganda versus Sudan, also that one will be a good one. So hii itabaki the last four. So here we will discuss it after the quarterfinals are played. We will see whether my prediction imepita ama imeanguka. So for those teams that I've picked Kenya, I've picked Uganda, I've picked Sudan, and I've picked Morocco. Those are the last four that I fancy will remain. And if those four teams remain, then that means Kenya has a chance to win. Though it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for Kenya to clinch that game. But I'd fancy Kenya to go into the finals and bring this tournament for the very first time. We've been starved of trophies, and I'm fancying Kenya to win this. If they're doing it for the money or for the passion, it doesn't matter, as long as they get the job done and the country celebrates a trophy. So without saying more, let us now discuss some football that is happening outside the country. And once again, I would love to shout out to Mohamed Salah for winning the PFA Player of the Year award 3 times. The first player to do that, and also the first African. We have to give him his flowers for that. He had a very good season ambayo ilipita, and if at some point ali drop off a little bit, which I think the one which is removing him from winning the Ballon d'Or. But otherwise, I believe if he kept on going and Liverpool maybe performed well in the Champions League, maybe they reached the semis or the final, then I believe he would be in contention for the Ballon d'Or. But either way, let us celebrate Salah for what he has done, and he's a very brilliant player. So to anyone who is watching me on any social media platform, my question to you guys is, the question of the day is, do you guys think Mohamed Salah right now is the best African player of all time after winning the PFA Player of the Year award 3 times in a row, and after last season winning the Premier League? Does he rank ahead of legends like Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba, Yaya Toure, people like JJ Okocha, Nwankwo Kanu? Where does he rank amongst the best African players of all time? You can give us your thoughts through the comment section to do it. What do you guys think of where does Mohamed Salah rank amongst the best African players of all time? That's the question of the day. Nataka nijue kutoka kwenu. Is he the best or is he the second best? And what does he need to do if he's not the best for him to be able to reach that status? So, and also quick recovery to players with no injury. Tuko na Kai, Kai Havertz, and we also have somebody like Kai Havertz and Frimpong. So quick recovery to them, and quick recovery to them. So uh, Tottenham have bottled the chance to sign this guy Eberechi Eze. They have had all the time in the world to be able to sign him. And one thing that I have noticed in this transfer window, clubs, let me not say, yeah, let's take somebody like Newcastle. Newcastle, they missed out on the players they missed out on. You can even form a first 11. People like Trafford, Matthias Cunha, Brian Mbuemo, Eberechi Eze, players like Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle missed out on so many players, and the big reason why they missed out on so many of these players is because they are not moving in very, very fast. And once you're not able to move in very, very fast in getting these players, when the big clubs show up, they are able to get the players. Nona. Somebody like Joao Pedro, if Newcastle was really intentional in purchasing Joao Pedro, they could have gotten the job done kitambo when Chelsea was still in the first games of the Club World Cup. But for the sole reason of them not moving in very, very fast, they gave Chelsea the time to be able to talk to Joao Pedro, and also the club to club agreement, and Joao Pedro signed in very, very fast. So that's the same thing that happened with Spurs. First, they were supposed to get Morgan Gibbs White, but it seems like Nottingham Forest was determined to keep Morgan Gibbs White. So that's why they were able to stop the move, and Morgan Gibbs White signed a new deal, which I feel like Morgan Gibbs White made a mistake in signing the new deal. And after that, Spurs were linked to Eberechi Eze, and Eze was championing for the move. They also linked to players like Savinho. And the funny thing is, they were almost getting the job done. 55 million plus 5 million add-ons. They were supposed to seal the deal, but for Spurs, they dilly-dallied, and the management let the team down because it's like they saw they didn't have competition for Eze, and the moment Kai Havertz got an injury, it could be a blessing in disguise for us, because right afterwards they knew they had to sign a player, and Arsenal did not waste time in signing the player. They jumped onto the Eze deal, and they hijacked it in less than 3 hours. They came in with more money, and the thing that we know is, if a bigger club comes for a player that a smaller club is going for, then uh, so uh, without a doubt, the player is going to choose the bigger club. So even the same thing, there is a deal. If Real Madrid joined the race, there's no way they was going to pick Arsenal ahead of Real Madrid. Truthfully speaking, he would choose Madrid over Arsenal. So, and we can't blame him, because as a player, you want to play for the bigger clubs, and you want to achieve things in in life. So once the big boys come calling, you take the chance. So Spurs would be a good side for Eze, because there he would be guaranteed minutes, and he was going to walk straight into the first 11, guaranteed. The next season was going to play Champions League. It would be very important for the team, but Arsenal would offer better chances because they are competing for the Premier League. So by default, we all know Eze would have signed for Arsenal over Tottenham. So, but the question is, does he get into the first 11, and Who is going to make way for him to play? Is it Martin Odegaard in the number 10, or is it Martinelli? Is Martinelli going to be the one making the to make room for Eze, or is he going to start off from the bench and he will be coming on? We are yet to see. But one thing that we do know is Eze is a good player, very much threatening. We saw him against Chelsea, playing for Palace, and he played really well for Palace in that game. He has proven time in time out in the Premier League that he is good. I do believe clubs would have signed him from as far back as 2020, when he was now starting to create a name for himself in the league. Uh, Clubs have overlooked him. Eze is a good player, and I believe he's going to showcase that at Arsenal. And clubs should be scared of Eze. Very brilliant player. So, without wasting much time, let's now get into the Premier League predictions for this weekend. So we have Friday night football, whereby Chelsea will be playing against West Ham, 10 p.m. Kenyan time, and we saw the Blues walipoteza, not they lost, they drew against Crystal Palace, and they had a very terrible opener against Crystal Palace, and one which to forget, because they failed to establish themselves, they failed to create chances, they failed to score goals, and Andre Santos blew a big chance. So this week Chelsea will be looking forward to bouncing back, and West Ham also lost against Sunderland. It seems as if West Ham bado wako na issues za last season. They still have the issues which they faced last season, and for that reason, I still fancy Chelsea to beat West Ham via 2-1 to Chelsea, because the defense at Chelsea is still not yet the best. I believe they need to sign a centre back right now. That Cole will be out for a long time. Also, Tosin missed the previous game with injury, so Chelsea need to go and bring a centre back. Though big shout out to Josh Achampong, played really well in the previous game. So big up to Josh Achampong for the brilliant performance. So in fancy, Enzo Maresca, after getting the point in the first game, will be out there to try and prove something. So I'd go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea against West Ham. Friday night football. Then Saturday night we have Manchester City versus Tottenham, which is one of the big games this weekend. Manchester City versus Tottenham. So right now, City played well against West Ham. No, sorry, against Wolves, but they are yet to be tested because Wolverhampton isn't really that great. So playing against Spurs will be a very big test, and Thomas Frank has beaten Manchester City before at Brentford, and also Thomas Frank will be out there to prove a point in this big game, Spurs versus Manchester City. So for me, I think this will be the first test that City will be given, playing versus Tottenham, and 2:30 p.m. No, 2:30 Kenyan time, and 2:30 p.m. Kenyan time. So this one is going to be a very difficult one to predict early on in the season. Uh, but City are at home against Spurs, so I'd give them the benefit of doubt of being at home 2-1. So I fancy both teams to score. Then we have Arsenal versus Leeds United. Arsenal will be playing at the Emirates for the very first time this season. They did play well against United, but I fancy them to win the game versus Leeds, which will be played in their home stadium. Arsenal will win convincingly, 3-1 to Arsenal. Then we have Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. That's also going to be a difficult one. Crystal Palace is playing today. Mm, so they have another game on Saturday against Nottingham Forest picked up 3 points in the first game. The second one, they are going to be away. Big shout out to Oliver Glasner for the way he's setting up his team in Crystal Palace. So this one is also going to be a very difficult one to predict. I'm going for both teams to score. Uh, Nottingham Forest are the team that scores goals. Also, I fancy Palace will score. People like Jean-Philippe Mateta can get the goals. So for that one, I'm going for both teams to score. Then Everton versus Brighton. This one also will be a good one. Everton versus Brighton. Uh, I'm going for a Brighton win. Brighton is going to win away against Everton. Everton still has some issues. They are not in their best form. Fulham versus United. This also will be a very good one. Fulham versus United. Fulham have been giving United troubles for quite some while, and United don't have it easy against Fulham. Fulham has been a very big threat to them over the course of the seasons. United played well against Arsenal, and they will be looking forward to get their first 3 points of the season. Uh, but United's defense is not the best of defenses, and so it's going to be a difficult one. This one also, I'll go for both teams to score, and I fancy a draw, going for both teams to score. United, they have to score, and Fulham has to score also because they are at home. So I'm going for a win, for not a win. I'm going for a draw, for the fact that Fulham are at home. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw, and also Newcastle versus Liverpool. And I watched the game Newcastle versus Aston Villa, which played which was played the previous Saturday, early kickoff, and Newcastle are struggling so much without Isak, and the they haven't made a lot of signings as I expected going into the new season, and they have Champions League football. So Newcastle isn't in the best shape, and I don't see them doing well this season. Whereas Liverpool, they're yet to hit the road running, they're yet to find their best form. But once you have people like Mohamed Salah, you know things can happen. So for this one at home, I'm going for a Liverpool win. Liverpool will beat Newcastle. I'm going for 3-1 to Liverpool. Not even 3-1. I'm going for 3-0 Liverpool away at Carrow Road. For the sole reason Newcastle doesn't have a striker right now who can get the goals, and Isak has been little for them. But for this particular game, the one which I watched last week, Newcastle weren't playing well, and they look as if they have lost their, let's call it the mojo. They have lost their momentum. They're not in the best place in the for them to be competitive in the league. So for that reason, I'm going for a 3-0 away win to Liverpool, and they shall win it convincingly. No, let me go for 2-0, 2-0 Liverpool away. And so that's my predictions for this week's Premier League and the Chan competition that are about to happen. And with those few, we have come to the end of today's show. Once again, thank you for the people who are joining me on Facebook. Thank you for people who are joining me on X, on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching Afrique 24. Consider subscribing to the platform so that we can grow the platform. And as always, football for life. And I might make a lot of mistakes in my predictions, but let us wait and see. And as always, football for life. So let's meet in the next football show that will be happening. You will see the link. So to everyone who's joining me from X, karibuni tena sana. We meet in the next football show.